Hello again and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. It shouldn't come as a surprise. I got my baseball cap on, so that means I'm ready for fitness. Today, we're actually talking about health and fitness. If you haven't subscribed, please do so as I provide all this information to you. Help me in welcoming Chris. I'll just leave it as Chris. It's a pleasure.
Perfect, thanks.
Chris, how you doing?
Appreciate being here. Great.
No, this is
for
great.
having me.
So we're definitely going to do the pull-ups. Looking around here, we'll see when we get to that.
Yep, got a few around here.
Well, thanks for coming on the show here. Let's start with some of my surprise questions. Not too surprised. Basically, tell us how your journey started. Have you always thought one day you'll become the department head for health and fitness? Tell us a little bit about
Absolutely
yourself.
not. I was not particularly fond of school growing up. And I luckily had a love for baseball and sports, so I was constantly involved in them. And I had, unfortunately, like 3 surgeries on my shoulder, so it took me out of baseball. But what it did is it put me into physical therapy a lot. And I was doing it more and more, and I was like, I could see myself doing this. It was the first time something clicked, where I was like, I guess I'll go into construction, or I guess I'll do something with my hands. Was in physical therapy, and I was like, I think I could do something like this. So I started exploring things online. Shadowing was a great help for me. Just going and visiting people. And I found like, okay, it's a little more slow paced for my interest, but I found this thing called exercise science. I went to undergrad and grad school in Pennsylvania, and I had been working as a personal trainer for all those years through college, and I was really enjoying it. That went on to like working at Duke Med, doing more physiology work, which is more special populations training. And I think I got to the point around 2012 where I said, like, I've done this now for a while. I have a lot of experience in it. I want to go back to grad school and teach it. Okay. So went and taught it, and then I started as an adjunct professor, full-time professor, and now we're here.
Great. So once again, every time I do this interview, I ask the same question, right? I'm yet to find anyone who said, hey, this is what I wanted to do, and I got right into it, right? I like the way our paths just go, and then we ultimately find out exactly what we want to do.
It helps you grow. It gets you well-rounded, and like it really helps you discern what you're meant to do, I think. Great. And it's great if somebody can find that.
Right. So in your program, it says health and fitness. Why is it that every time I see health, I see fitness? Why are those two always in the same sentence?
I think of them as the pillars, like fitness is a pillar of health and wellness, we'll say. Like whereas you can have like mental health in there, you can have nutrition in there, taking care of your body in the fitness world is a really big part of it. I always say, so fitness is extremely important, but like what you eat in your diet is like even more important. So, but you have to have kind of both components. So I think that's why they're always tied together. And our program focuses less on the nutrition side and more on the fitness side, because we do have nutrition classes.
Great. All right, so this is great. Thanks again for clarifying those 2 points. Like I said, every time I hear fitness or health, and more so now we're talking about it more and more. When we started, when I actually reached out to you, to do this, one of the things that was going through my mind was, okay, we're going to be doing a program on health and fitness. And I also did mention that you have a unique program, right? Because not only are you going to have students that are interested in health and fitness, this is also great for everybody else, right? So how do you differentiate between, you're a student studying for this, or like me, what advice do you give to somebody like me outside your program?
Great question, and I think the main difference is our students are in the program to become the people helping people that are interested in getting more healthy or interested in getting stronger, faster on a sports team, whatever. Our students are learning the skills to be that helper in the industry, whereas then I go and I have conversations with friends and family who are looking for advice. I'm like, I need to lose 5 more pounds. If I had a nickel for every time I answered that question. I should just have cards I pull out. So yeah, it's more just informing and being the informer. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So when I get into your program specifically, like, how long does it take, and all that. But before that, for an adult who just needs to know about health and fitness, right? Let's start with just very briefly, what are some suggestions you have for that. I just want us to get that out of the way and then we can focus on students.
It's a popular one,
yeah.
and I think I have been asked it also many, many times, and I've probably answered it in a bunch of different ways. And the best thing I've come to now is consistency. Okay. I can tell you, you can do this program and you're going to lose this much weight or gain this much weight or strength, but if you don't do it, it's not going to work. So it's not always the magic diet or the magic written program, but it's like, what are you going to do that fits with the rest of your life schedule, and what's going to keep you consistently going back to the gym or to wherever your equipment is, or just even putting a video on YouTube. There's so much out there that access is not the problem anymore. It's just finding something you enjoy that you're willing to repeat multiple times a week, and that goes with a diet just as well.
Okay, that's great. So I'm trying to find out if this is still the case, because when I was a student, PE, physical education, is a requirement.
Yes.
Is it still a requirement for students?
It was when I was in school. Okay. I have a lot of non-exercise or health and fitness science program students in our PE classes. Okay. So that either is a requirement by their program, or they're taking it because they have an interest in, taking the weightlifting class or the yoga class. So we do have a lot of non-program students entering our program, but I'm not really sure if that's a requirement or an interest.
So, I bring this back up because, again, in college, when it was a requirement, I think the whole idea was that we need fitness one way or the other, right? People were not really talking about the health component, but fitness. And so I honestly didn't see it as a requirement. I thought, hey, it's great then, something to do. And meanwhile, there were students who just couldn't wait to fulfill those requirements and get out of it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned sports. So I want to go back a little bit to your college days, because I think we take it for granted, right? I did a little bit of sports. I love sports through college. So for you, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. People always want to know, well, how do I go work out and then go to school? I'm going to be so tired. I need you to help people understand that that's not the case. That's not how it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'll go back to the consistency. If working out in the morning fits with your schedule, and some people say it makes you tired, some people say it makes you have more energy. Right. And I would say maybe originally you might be tired because you're working on this weird schedule. Instead of getting up at 6 a.m., you're getting up at 4:30 a.m., you're going to the gym, you have to go to the shower afterwards, and then you get to work. So there is a bit of a process to make something work for your lifestyle. Whether it works for one person, it might not work for somebody else. And yeah, it's absolutely crucial, I would say, to your well-being and the well-being of the people you work with. There's going to be people that are really into it, and if they, work gets too stressful, the first thing they give up is things that take their time. Right. And unfortunately, when things get stressful, exercising is what you need to do more of. It's good for up here. So, time management is going to be pretty much the biggest determinant if you give it up or if you start doing it more.
All right. Let's talk about your program a little bit more. Okay. So be honest with me, right? If a student is interested in your program, how fit do they have to be?
Not fit at all. We have a variety of students because, like you said in the beginning, wellness is a passion, for a lot of people, not just people that have degrees in exercise science. We have people that are we're in the business world for 50 years and they come back just because they're I want to be a trainer because I've learned to love this. I want to let other people feel how good I feel. We have other people that say I don't know if I want to be a trainer or a group exercise or how I want to be involved, but I lost a lot of weight and it was so fulfilling. I want to help other people now do this. And then we have other people who come into the program to get in shape and then know how to get themselves in better shape. Right. It's been interesting because I think in the beginning that would have been my assumption, and then I was very wrong. Right. It is definitely a variety of students, which is really great because I'll get people calling and saying I don't know if I'm fit for the program. I don't know if I'll look the part. Right. And I was you do not have to worry about that. Okay. It's really great for that.
Okay, I'm happy you put that out there. So you're saying when a student comes and is interested in your program, you're not going to say, get down, give me 50 push-ups to see if you're okay.
This is not the military. We do not have a PT test to enter. We are very welcoming.
Thank you. Yes. That's good to know. For your program, let's go through what some of the different programs are, because I want students to kind of know how long it takes. Is it a certificate that you get? So just walk us through some of.
I'm happy you asked that. We are growing our options because yes, we would say the 2-year associate's degree is the most robust option because it's 2 years. You're taking everything from anatomy to exercise science to nutrition to like behavioral change, because that's a really important part of it. You can know everything about exercise science, but if you can't get somebody to believe it and do it, they won't. So it's robust. You get all aspects of changing somebody's behaviors. But we also know that that's not going to fit everyone's lifestyle, especially like a community college population. A lot of students are part-time because they have full-time families or full-time jobs or whatever. They're here for the specific reason of their life. So we wanted to give other people those options. So we have a certificate also, HFS certificate. It's a 1-year program where you just get the core curriculum that we have decided that if you take just these courses, you can take it in 1 year and be done. You will be a really good trainer or group exercise instructor for a lot of people. And we think that's important to have both. And then now recently, one of our instructors is teaching an 8-week personal training con ed class, which is, again, we think the 2-year program is the best, but like that's not everyone out there's availability. So we need to have an option for them. And so we just started collaborating with Con Ed, and it's been really successful. We're going to run 5 classes this year, and then we're going to start adding more Con Ed classes as we go.
That's great. Yeah. So what is the minimum requirement for, we got our Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Gold Gym. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to work with a certificate to get them in the doorway to work in one of those gyms?
It will, and luckily Wake Tech has a very good reputation. Our program, as it has grown, we got accredited in 2018, and that was huge for us. There's only 4 in the country. So having that kind of as a stamp of approval of these students are having a quality curriculum and education and employers know that. And we work with affiliation agreements with all these employers so that our students can intern there. That's a really big part of our program. But yeah, getting a certification, the certificate, you will need to still sit for a personal training certificate, but yeah, then they would be able to interview. Okay. Yes.
So this is one question that I struggle with personally is, what is being in shape? And how do you know you're out of shape?
That's a very good question, and I think it's an overused, undefined term. And I've never thought about it, and I'm going to give you the best answer off the top of my head, but I feel like...
Even better yet, let's say right now, if I say run 2 miles, would that disseminate? You and me both. I don't like running. I play soccer. I love to play soccer, but I'm happy you did mention though that there's not a clear definition, right? Because if I come in and say, Chris, I really feel like I'm out of shape, you're gonna say, why? And I say, well, because so-and-so runs 2 miles, I cannot run 2 miles, but that is so-and-so, right? Mm-hmm. So just help us a little bit. Yes, yeah.
A good place to start is to understand that there are body types. There are people that put on weight easier. There are people that are just lean and they can't put on weight. And I've worked with people that I've helped them lose weight, and I've worked with people helping them gain weight. It is very difficult to gain weight if you have a lean frame. And then you have mesomorphs, which are people that can build muscle very easily, like bodybuilders, and you know the type when you see them. So there's different body types that you're prone to be moving towards. If I have somebody that's really thin, there's probably a good chance that they're going to be better at endurance sports. It's the muscle fiber makeup of the individual. You have a bigger, like I said, mesomorph individual, they probably have a different type of muscle fiber that is going to make them put on muscle better. But then you're going to have people that are just going to struggle, to keep the weight off, and that's just the body type that they were given. So by looking at somebody that maybe works out a lot, but they're of that endomorph, the larger size, they could be in great shape, but maybe not what you picture as good shape. Okay. So it's very much, it's up to the individual's interpretation of it.
Okay. What's the minimum thing you expect somebody to do? And if they're not able to, you can say, you know what, you're definitely out of shape. Let's say we walk in, if you can't walk 10 steps of flights, if you can't pick up this weight, what do you think is the minimum thing for somebody to do to say, you know what, you're really out of shape?
I'd say first thing is you readjust your diet. Okay. Number one, I always say I have a master's degree and 30% of the solution to health. It's nutrition, 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 and then move. Right. And that movement, like I said, whatever you can do consistently, go for a walk. People have an hour off for lunch, go take a walk around campus. It's super nice out here. So after you get the nutrition kind of narrowed down to what you can do consistently, that's taking out some of the obvious bad decisions, and that's usually the first place I start. Like, what are you eating that's obviously probably not a good idea? I'm like, okay, well, this, and that. And I'm like, let's not take them away, but like remove them, but replace them with something. Step one. What are you doing as far as physical activity? I always start physical activity because it's non-structured movement. It's less threatening to hear than, what's your workout? Like leading with that is like, oh, I don't like the gym. There's too many people. I get nervous. But like, so what's your physical activity like per week? Are you like taking walks in the afternoon? Do you have a dog? Do you do gardening? Like, what is your activity level like? And if it's kind of on the lower side, let's add a little bit more. Like, would it be fun to go and do this? Or, depending if they're into intramurals, like kickball leagues and all of that. So kind of introduce movement, non-structured movement, and then as they get into a habit and they start getting a little bit healthier, then we can introduce something more structured, because at that time they say like, I want to do this, or I want to run my first 5K. And then they develop these couch to 5K programs. So I'd say just introduce healthy eating habits and then physical activity.
Okay. Is there anything like too much exercising?
Oh, absolutely. One of the lectures I gave today, one of the slides was overtraining. It is something that I think a lot of people do that are in the exercise world. You're healthy, and there are some people that are too healthy is not the word, but they get obsessed with it. They get so excited about it, and they're in the gym for 2 hours every day. You do that, and then you have a stressful job. Okay, now that's 2 different stressors on your body. And then you have a poor diet because you have a stressful job. And then you might have issues with family at home. That's 4 stressors on your body. All these things raise your cortisol levels, which is going to make you stress out. You're not going to be able to sleep. Now you haven't recovered after all these stress, and then you go and train really hard again. Crash. Yeah, that's how injuries happen. That's how, injuries that you have no idea how they showed up. That's when they're going to occur.
All right. Let's bring it all back to the student again, right? For a student who's taken 4 classes, Monday through Friday, we're talking about find time to do some exercising, right? Very quickly, what's a typical program that you have for a student that feels like they're too busy, they kind of fit they don't have any time to fit in exercise.
Well, first and foremost,
yes.
Sign up for PED 117.
Okay.
It is our weight training class. We have also a number of activity classes that are open to the entire college. Like you said, it goes back to if it's required or not, financial aid. But that is one very, very easy way to answer that.
Is it every day?
Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
Typically during normal business hours, our classes run. We don't have any evening classes at the time. We have in the past. Right. We have a pretty large online curriculum. But yeah, I think that's the easiest way by far. We are starting to work on the logistics behind student wellness hours. We haven't started or launched it yet, but it's something that we're hoping to bring out in the future, because just as much as employees need wellness hours, students are just as stressed and they need an outlet for that. Also exploring intramural options and other ways to keep students on campus a little longer. Outside of that, it's usually link up with someone who has a similar interest in exercise and find some activity to do in the evenings. There are plenty of programs out there that offer intramurals and sports, because it doesn't always have to be exercising in a weight room.
Right, great.
So,
okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Are you overtraining yourself? What do you think you are?
Absolutely not. I have to walk past the weight room to get to my car. And it is shocking how many times I walk past the weight room to go home after a long day. I had my bag, everything was packed, I was ready to do it. The day happens, and I just look away as I walk past this weight room.
What's your typical week exercising schedule?
If I'm consistent, I will do 5 days a week for about 45 minutes, a little bit of a warm-up, about a 40-minute program, a little bit of a cool down. I have it very easy because I'm in this building. In both the buildings that I'm in, I have a weight room.
Okay.
I had no perspective when I was a trainer, and I think this is really important. Sure. When I was a trainer, I'd be working with clients who were really, really badly wanting to get to their goal. And I'm like, you see me once a week. I need you to come 2 other times a week when I'm not with you. And they're like, wouldn't make it happen. I was like, well, if you want it enough, you're going to make it happen. And then I got out of the personal training world and I got into a job. Speaking of job, still has the gym in my building. And I struggled to get to the weight room. And I was like, how naive was I that I thought, why don't you just go to the gym? Whereas I worked in the gym. Right. Once I stopped working in the gym, I realized, life happens. Real things are going on. So it is tough. So I would say if you can be gracious with yourself and not beat yourself up on the days you don't make it, but put it in your calendar like a meeting and treat it like one.
Okay. Great. Chris, I honestly want to just keep going on this here. It's great information that you're sharing. This room, by the way, is very welcoming. I definitely feel like I want to do some pull-ups. But what would be your closing remarks? And then we'll get to how students can reach out to you as well. But let's start with any motivation, any advice you have for anyone, right? But specifically for your students and your program.
Yeah, I'm very proud of our program. Our faculty are absolutely amazing. We have grown so much, and I think by being student-focused, it has become a program I'm super proud of. I'd say just try to eliminate as many barriers as you can to health and fitness, okay? Like as many barriers that you think are not good for you, so just start taking one out at a time. Don't rehaul your life, because then you're gonna crash and you're gonna fall back to these old habits that are really, really comfortable, but maybe not good for you or your family. And start small. Start really small. Take out the obvious things that maybe shouldn't be in your life. Add in some, obvious things that probably should, like more movement. And, always just keep your mental health and everything in check, because, fitness is great for that.
That's great. Great. How can students find you?
So students can find us on our website. Type in the search bar at the top of the waketech.edu page, Health and Fitness Science. You will see our homepage. On the left, you'll see a tab called Faculty. And you'll see all of our instructors there, me included, and you can reach out. I'll have a phone number on there, my location, as well as my email. I'd say email works the best because I'm kind of jumping around to different campuses. And or there's a tab on the first page of our website that says, contact me now.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. Well, that's another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. Great information we just got. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Let Mr. Chris know. Please do subscribe, but most importantly, exercise, health, fitness. These days we have a lot of resources, a lot of places that you could do that. I also like that Mr. Chris pointed out that there's the minimum, right? Walk around, it's just basic exercise you could do, but also most importantly, be consistent, right? Be consistent. I don't do the 5 days a week. I do 3 days, but I'm definitely consistent on that, and you can do the same. Chris.
Thank you. Had a good time.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
All right.